everybody. Welcome to Big Hair Wednesday. Okay. Seriously, it's totally fine. Big hair. It is what it is, right? It's always been big. I've never not had big hair. I don't know. It's my brand, man. That's just what it is. Like, just deal with it. Okay. Let's see where we're going today. Let's see where we're going. So today at 1 o'clock, we have the Pathfinders Live. So I've been loving our conversations about Ascension, actually. And last week we did a lot with the new moon in Aries. So that was really fun. Today I think we're going to talk about topics you want to talk about. So it's kind of like a Wildcat Wednesday. If you want to come on, if you're a Pathfinder and you want to jump onto that live, please do. I love the questions you guys bring to the table. Super awesome. Super duper awesome. And for the Ascension group, I do want to talk about kind of this toggling back and forth that we're doing. Pluto into Aquarius and then back out of Aquarius into Capricorn later this year, and then fully moving back into Aquarius after a retrograde. Yikes. In January of 2024. So let's get a real handle on what that's going to look like for us, especially for those of us who have been walking the spiritual path for a long time now. And I do feel like some of the things that I'm getting in my own private readings for myself are about how we're going to just have to allow those who are not ascending or who are not interested in that to just you be you, okay? Like, shine your light, do what you can, but there's nothing beyond that. There's no need for you to force anybody to be in an ascension kind of experience. It's probably not on their path. It's likely not on their path. And if it is, they're fighting it. And so, like, you're getting in the way of their own mission. So we're going to talk about that, this whole, like, 3-month period of time this year where Pluto is in Aquarius, and we get a preview of what's coming up. So I'm going to do a reading for you guys in the Ascension group, and we're going to talk about it. Okay, that's today at 3:30. This keeps showing up, and I keep seeing a little bluebird on my walk with Charlie. It's only in one part of the neighborhood. It's right around my little corner here. It's only here. I've walked all over this neighborhood. I've never seen that bluebird anywhere else. The thicket of thorns, uncertainty, and bee spirit, prosperity. Now, this one has been showing up a lot. And we are at the time of year in the Northern Hemisphere where the bees are starting to get active as soon as it warms up a little bit. But further south from me, I mean, it's warm. So the bees are starting to get active, the birds and the bees kind of thing here. This is, kind of an interesting collection of cards. This thicket of uncertainty, though, I do like the fact that there are 3 butterflies that are leading her. And the message of this is if you're kind of stuck in a sticky wicket, and I've toggled back and forth, I guess like the Pluto energy, I've toggled back and forth into these readings where it's about people being stuck. And then I toggle out of them into real growth and prosperity and happiness and joy. And it's so interesting. It's kind of like it is a choice. It is somebody's choice to be either in the stuck energy or not in the stuck energy. But you might not think when you're stuck in it that it's, why is this my choice? I don't really want this. So the answer that you will come to yourself when you're in a stuck place, whether you're in a stuck place right now or not, is that the less you push and try to force things, the less you try to figure it out, the better. The more you're in the place of releasing and allowing, the more you're in that divine feminine energy, the better off you're going to be. So I'll read you the thicket of thorns as we get into the extended. There will be an extended reading. Pathfinders, you get an email every morning with the reading and the extended. So if you're wanting to jump on Pathfinders, and then you'll also be invited to that live. Go right ahead. There's a link below. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Thanks for being here. Lots of new people these days. I really am loving it. And the expansion of that feeling of having you guys here. So 9 of Pentacles underneath. The Magician, seeing you a lot. Tower, seeing you a lot. King of Cups. Knight of Swords. Hanged Woman in this deck. This is the Mystic Monday deck. The Strength card, Six of Cups, Justice, and the Three of Pentacles. So there is a manifestation kind of edge to this reading. And I am getting the feeling that for some of you, this is about healing resentment. For some of you, this is about healing your heart, healing your courage, taking chances, breaking the mold. This is also very much like that Thicket of Thorns card. The key to the Hanged Woman and the Devil card didn't show up here, but the key to it is to let go. Okay? And what do I mean by letting go? I mean, stop trying to figure it out, stop trying to force things, stop trying to take action. This is more kind of in alignment with the natural world, where they just do what's right in front of them. And sometimes they rest, and sometimes they move, but it's all based on kind of a natural flow of things. And if there's resentment, if there's hurt feelings, if there's difficulties in your life right now, I like the Tower for that purpose of kind of blasting that apart. Like, the more you try to struggle to fix something, the worse it gets. Have you ever done that? Like, you're really in a place of, okay, I'm making this cake and I forgot a couple things, and so I'll try to fix it. It doesn't look right. The batter doesn't look thick enough. The batter doesn't look thin enough. And so I'm going to try to fix it. And it's like half the time, that is just a mistake, right? It's just like, okay, I've just got to start over. But sometimes you just go with it. Sometimes if you're in a place of, and it feels like flow, it doesn't feel like, oh, okay, I got to fix this. I got to add this. Oh God, I forgot that. Oh my God. Like, it doesn't feel like that. It just feels like, well, let's just see what happens. That's the difference. Flow feels a little bit more like, let's see what happens. The most powerful inventions of the world have been stumbled upon when someone just does something different, or moves away from their struggle, or stops looking at the problem, right? What was it? Was it Galileo that took a bath and figured out about displacement? There's just a lot of examples of that, where people were really trying to solve a certain problem and they solved a different problem because they kind of just paid attention to what was going on and just felt like they were in the flow. Okay, I've never noticed this before. I've used this deck for years and years. Haven't used it lately. And what I'm noticing here is there's the cup. You see how he has the cup on his shoulder? I almost never notice that there's a cup, even though this is the King of Cups. I almost never noticed that. And it also looks like a trophy. Okay, it looks like a trophy to me. The Magician here looks like juggling diamonds, or juggling selenite, or juggling clear quartz, or something like that. So getting some help from the universe, getting some guidance, getting some there's a sense of winning here. There's a sense of, when I just let go, when I just stop trying to fix things, then things do fall into place. There's kind of a beautiful energy here. Six of Cups, the Justice card, and the Three of Pentacles. It's almost like if you are struggling with something, then Tower energy may be coming through to kind of stop you. It's almost like a protective energy, where it's stopping you from kind of stumbling into doing something that really will wreck things. So when you're manifesting, or when you're in this energy, the Magician, I feel like it needs to come from a place of stability and a place of self-confidence. And when you do that, you're blowing apart something. I'm getting the sense of trying to pull two things together, like the Chariot, that aren't supposed to be together. So there's something you're trying to make work, right? And you try to force it, or you try to push two people together, or you try to, organize something so a certain outcome happens. And I feel like what can come of that is, first of all, it doesn't work. But second of all, you're opening up this sense of like, oh, you know what? If I had just let things be, if I had just not tried to force my own agenda on this scenario, then things would be what they're gonna be, like literally be BEE or BE, be spirit, right? Just let things be. You're likely dealing with a person right now, or your own sense of frustration, your own sense of why can't it just be a certain way. And the powerful position here is to let it work itself through. All right, let things just work themselves through. I feel like when you do that, when you just let go, this Hanged Woman is very much about releasing, surrendering to the process. With the Tower, I don't really I think it's like you're going to be shown that you have either pushed it to its limits, and so you're going to get a Tower, or it's sort of like a back off. Back off. Stop doing this. Stop. So some of you might be getting dreams that are indicative of that. Some of you may suddenly get a little cold. Like, just stop. Stand still for a minute, okay? When you do that, I do feel like the resistance to the situation lessens, okay? There's a lot going on in the world. We see lots of things happening. Nobody's doing anything about certain problems, and it's really frustrating. And so I almost feel like it's not about giving up on the answers of that. It's about allowing the answers to come in. So if we're at loggerheads with somebody, if we're really in an argument with somebody, or if we're really struggling against our own beliefs of this is how it should be, the answer is the opposite. The answer is let it be. Let it show up. Let it solve itself. I used to have a doctor when I was still living in Connecticut, and he was he retired the last year I was living in Connecticut, right before I moved up here in 2019. And he said to me, he's like, you know what? The body heals 85% of everything. It's the other 15% you need me for. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And he's like, and I'm the one that knows the difference. He's like, people don't know the difference of stuff that can heal itself just by taking better care of yourself or doing the minor things, right? Like if you have a big scrape, if you need stitches, then the body will heal itself. Doctors create the conditions for healing. Spiritual healers create the conditions for healing. So that's why it's our job to really shine our light, because we're just creating the conditions of love and acceptance. And those are all divine feminine virtues, all right? Divine virtues, divine feminine attributes. And so pushing things isn't going to help. Allowing will. It's very counterintuitive. I feel like some of you might be like, no, I have to do something. I can't do nothing. Some of you may feel really helpless about the illness of a family member, or the illness of a friend, or the seeming, kind of spiraling down of a friend, or something like that. And really, you and I both know that sometimes people just need to be listened to, which is also a divine feminine thing. Sometimes people just need you to hold space for them. That's true. We can't always be out there, moving the world around so that they don't, and that's very codependent, by the way, to move the world around so the person doesn't feel as bad is not really always very helpful, okay? So let me see the Tower. Let me clarify the Tower here. 8 of Swords, 2 of Cups, 10 of Pentacles, and the 10 of Wands. Wow, that's codependent, okay? This is codependence here. This is a relationship that you might want to go the distance, but by pushing or forcing, you're going to get yourself a Tower. And what's being asked of you here is just to let go of trying to make it work or trying to do everything. When I used to be a TV producer, you know that, right? TV producer and a video producer, I helped companies tell their stories on video. And by the end of that time, I just got to the point, it was very frustrating for me, because it's so shocking to me to think that people don't want to be on video, but most people don't want to be on video. Just saying. And it just was something that didn't occur to me because it's been my whole life. And so when I finally decided to just stop forcing people to do video because I thought it was so important and so meaningful, and of course YouTube is meaningful and it's a way to get discovered, it's a way to share your light and all of that, I just said, you know what, people are going to share their light in their own way. And if you want to come to me and say, hey, teach me how to do this, I'm all in, okay? But it's no longer my job to convince anybody that a certain path is the way. And that's one of the things I learned from you guys, and that's how my spiritual business class has evolved, because everybody has their own method. And as long, like sometimes you just need guidance about it. Sometimes you just need to be heard. Sometimes you need information. Sometimes you do want to go down a certain road. And so that's fine, but we have to be at the same place. And so in relationships, in anything, if you are somebody like, I'm sure I'm not the only one that's had this experience of being in a dating scenario with someone who doesn't want to be there, or I don't want to be there. So what happens? You sabotage the date. You don't want to go. Oh, I'm ill, or oh, I got a lot to do, or oh, this isn't going to work for me, this timing, and you keep canceling. You know that experience. You know what it feels like to be on the other side of that when you do want to be seeing a certain person. So if you're both on the same page, or if you're in your work or in your life on the same page with somebody, it's easy. That's what alignment feels like. When you're always the one who's driving the train and trying to get everybody else on board, that's not alignment. That's not alignment. And so I feel like this is a little bit of an energy of realigning you from the place of being the doobie, the person who does everything, the person who tries to make everything work and everything. And I almost feel like the Pluto energy that was in Capricorn was very much that doobie energy about like, well, you've got to put a certain amount of effort into this, and you've got to do it this way. And Capricorn, God bless Capricorn, but Capricorn is about the rules. This is how things work. This is how the world works, okay? And certain times it's great to really have that awareness, but other times it's sort of like, yeah, right. But now we're moving Pluto into Aquarius, and Aquarius is like, we're going to make some new rules here, because these old rules may not have been working for us, especially if you're in that place of like, oof, I'm not, I'm dealing with someone who isn't really invested in this relationship. So what do? Do I push him into it? No. Ask him. You want to be here? Ask embarrassing questions. That's the thing that's going to get you clear. Be courageous enough to just say, you know what? I could walk away from anything. Anything. Just sit with that for a while. I really feel like that's what Pluto and Capricorn is going to be talking to us about, is not forcing something that doesn't want to work. How many of us have tried to put the Tupperware top on the Tupperware that doesn't match it? But we're like, sure of it. Like, it looks like it should match. Why doesn't it match? And then what happens? You just get frustrated, right? You just gin up some bad feelings. We're not doing that. We're not doing that anymore. So what's down here is, so we're becoming aware of the things that we need to release from trying to force. And that opens up our heart, and that opens up our manifesting capability. Our sitting in this energy of releasing is opening us up to being courageous and asking the courageous questions, and leaving behind. So Aquarius, I am an Aquarius, Venus in Aquarius, so I'm really accustomed to this being a little bit cool, being a little bit separated from the idea that someone has to feel a certain way, okay? I'm much more in that experimental place of like, whatever the feeling is the feeling, okay? And that's something that has value. Not just, oh, we should be feeling like this, or you should be doing that, or you should be doing a certain romance a certain way or love a certain way. It's much more experimental. And I feel like those who really love the Pluto and Capricorn about like these are the rules might struggle a little bit because those rules may not apply anymore. And that's why some people are going to be like, okay, all right, I'm done. I'm out. Right? Like they're opting out of ascension. They're opting out of this next level of consciousness. They're just like, you know what? No, not for me. Okay. Let them be. Let those people do them. You don't have to be somebody who is, there's no quota here. Okay. There's no quota of, look at all the people I turned around. Look at, no, 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 no. That's not it. You're just here standing, shining the light, and those who are also aligned with this will raise their hand. Okay? And so that's when we get into this place of Six of Cups, people coming back around. I have noticed in the channel how many of you watched in 2019 and 2020 and are now back. That's remarkable. A lot of people are back. And coming back around because they're in a new level of their consciousness. They're in a new, or whatever it is for you. Like, I'm not going to tell you what it is for you, whatever it is for you. And this does feel really balanced. Like we're now ready to work with each other. We're ready to move forward. We're ready to, because we both raised our hands, right? Here. We're aligned. And then it's easy. And, you know, I think that Pluto in Capricorn gave a lot of credence to the idea that stuff is supposed to be hard. Because Capricorn is, you know, ruled by Saturn. And there's a little bit of philosophy there that says stuff has to be hard. And there's a certain satisfaction in that. I'm not going to make that a low vibration thing. There's certain satisfaction in putting in time and effort and playing by this structure and giving people structure so that they know how to get outside the box, or feeling a sense of belonging because we are all swimming in the same direction. So there's some really positive things to that. And this new direction of Pluto and Aquarius may be very disconcerting to some people because we don't know where the box is. We don't know. We're making the box now. Right? And so things we get to say, if alignment is the ideal, then things are easy. They don't have to be like this. Okay, Eight of Swords and the Ten of Wands. If we get to say, right? If you get to say in your own life and I get to say in my own life, hey, listen, I'm only traveling in those lanes where things are ultimately aligned. And I'm not trying to force things. I'm not trying to struggle with things. You know, certain things aren't on my path. Okay. And that was a much harder kind of sell in Pluto and Capricorn than it is in Pluto and Aquarius. So we're going to talk today at the Ascension group about this next 3 months and what that's going to look like and how you might use it to your best advantage. Okay. All right. And I'm going to continue this reading. So Pathfinders, I'm just going to keep going with you. And if you are not in Pathfinders and you want to continue on with this reading and this is relevant to you, then there's a link below. Come along. See you over there. All right, I hope you enjoyed that video. If it was helpful to you, please consider liking this video and sharing it with anybody who might have a need for similar kind of information. And if you like this video, check out these videos.